Episode 3 is seen through the eyes of Paxton, although his narrator is Gigi Hadid. They just have so much in common. Paxton is back from the hospital, but he's got a broken arm. It's pretty mangled. But Paxton's arm is the only thing that's hurt. His heart's also hurt. He can't believe that he was cheated on, and not just cheated on, but cheated on with Ben Gross of all people. Davey tries to once again apologize to Paxton, but it's obvious that neither guy is over being cheated on. To make it worse, Trent is giving Paxton shit about it. He can't believe that Paxton was cheated on with a dude who looks like the stand-in from Young Sheldon. And Paxton tries to remind him, I'm still as beautiful as ever, man. Anyone want to sign my cast? And of course, there's like 10 girls that are just lining up. But then Paxton gets word he has to go to the guidance counselor's office. And that's because the guidance counselor talked to Paxton's swim coach. And due to the severity of Paxton's injury, he's going to have to face the possibility he might not swim for Stanford, which means he's not going to get in for Stanford. He has athlete grades, but when he's not an athlete, he doesn't have many grades, which leaves one option: community college. She asks him, would you be open to being tutored? And he says, well, yeah, I want to go to college. And she says, great, well, I've already taken the liberty of hooking you up with one of the best tutors in the school. And in walks Davey. And Paxton says, I'd rather not go to college than work with her. And he walks out. But when Paxton gets home that day, Trent is waiting for him. And Trent actually helps Paxton realize he does want to go to college. And that's because Trent has no interest in college. He's going to be a YouTube star that reacts to reaction videos. It's kind of as stupid as recapping television shows. That's never going to work anyway. So the next day, Paxton walks up to Davey and says, okay, I do want you to tutor me. And Davey's actually a little relieved. She feels like this could help mend the relationship. But when she opens up Paxton's textbook, she realizes it's never been opened up before. And it's not like Paxton has any plans on opening up that textbook at all. He tells Davey, you're going to do all the work for me. You're the whole reason that I'm not going to Stanford. You're the reason I can't swim. Now, I'm going to college on a you doing my homework scholarship. And Davey says, I can't do that. That's cheating, which Paxton comes back with, well, then you probably should be pretty good at it. He walks out of the house, and Davey does all his work for him. But when she goes to drop it off, he's hanging out with Trent, Malcolm, and Zoe is sitting in his lap. And Paxton is super rude to Davey. He basically just tells her, yeah, drop it off and then start on the other stuff. And Paxton actually thought he would enjoy punishing Davey, but he doesn't at all. Even when he gets his first A, which was because of Davey, he doesn't feel good about it. But when Davey comes over that day to pick up Paxton's homework, he's still pretty rude to her. As Davey's about to leave, she runs into Rebecca, compliments her outfit, and then walks out. But once Davey leaves, Rebecca lays into Paxton for making Davey do his homework. She tells Paxton, do you know how difficult it was for me to get into fashion school? And he says, yeah, I was really proud of you for that. And she fires back, don't you want to be proud of yourself? I understand you want to go to college, but maybe you don't deserve to go to college. This makes Paxton feel pretty bad. He feels even worse at dinner that night, because as his parents are talking to him about his future, it's obvious that they don't even think he's college material. They start talking about going to work at the family sporting goods store, but that's not what he wants at all. He wants to go to college. He wants to get an education. And he can't believe that his family doesn't even believe in him. He doesn't confront his parents about this. He's just hurt. The next day, Paxton goes to visit his grandfather at the retirement community that he lives in, and he's doing so to pick up a bunch of books that his grandfather no longer wants. But he does ask his grandfather, do you think I'm college material? And his grandfather looks at him and says, yeah, of course. Who told you you weren't? And Paxton says, basically everybody. He reminds Paxton that he is smart enough to go to college. After all, he was fluent in Japanese by the time he was 5. He tells him, people are going to think a bunch of things about you, like you're not smart, like you don't belong. But the only opinion that matters of you is the one you have for yourself. And this helps Paxton realize that he can no longer have Davey doing his homework for him. He actually wants to be tutored. And he asks Davey to start off with a history test that they have on Friday. So Paxton comes over to her house after school, and they start going over the material. But Paxton's having a tough time grasping the material because it's just so boring. He asks Davey, can't you just rap all the facts like in Hamilton? And while she wants to say no, she can't say no to those baby blues. They realize, though, through her trying to rap, that Paxton is actually grasping some of the material. But all of a sudden, the door flies open because Davey's mom cannot believe that Davey has a boy in her room with the door closed. Even though it's just for studying, she's mortified. She goes to prop the door open, but that's when Davey's grandmother shows up, and she can't wait to meet Paxton. It's a boy after all. Davey's mom shoos away the grandmother and leaves them alone, but does leave the door open. And Davey starts talking to Paxton about how overbearing her mother can be, how if she makes anything below an A, it's looked at as a failure. And that's when Davey says, I've got it. I'll just be your overbearing Indian mother. But Paxton says, that'd be kind of weird because we used to hook up. And then Paxton gives her that look. You know that look. Davey, though, controls herself, hands him a Pop-Tart, and they continue to study. And as they walk to class the next day, Paxton's got most of this material down, thanks to Davey's rapping. But when he gets the test, he freezes. He doesn't remember any of it. He panics and runs out of the class. And Davy finds him afterwards and says, "What happened?" And Paxton says, "I have no idea. All of a sudden, my heart was racing. I felt like I couldn't breathe." He can't believe this was all over a history test. Well, Davy thinks it's a great thing and points out, "Paxton, you had a panic attack. And that's because you cared. You cared about school." Davy has Paxton get up because she's determined to get him to retake the test, but their teacher thinks that would be unfair. And that's when Davy just manipulates the hell out of him. I mean, I don't like to use the term cuck-lib soy boy because I myself have been described as that, and it hurts my feelings. But this guy is legitimately like the cuck-lib soy boy of the century. And when Davy tells him that by not letting Paxton retake the test, he'd be putting down men who are vulnerable, he gives in. And after class, Davy goes to visit Paxton at his place, and Paxton proudly shows her that he got a B. And not only did he get a B, but he earned it, which is probably the best feeling for him. He thanks her, and she says, "Of course, I mean, after all, I kind of owe you, because after all, you got hit by a car because of me." And the other thing. And he says, "Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Don't worry, we're cool. After all, there's no way it would have worked out. We just don't make any sense." Davy agrees because it'd be awkward if she didn't, and then she signs his cast. When Davy leaves, Paxton proudly walks into the living room and hands Rebecca the B. To which Rebecca says, "She taught you how to read?" He laughs and then says, "You were right. If I'm going to college, I want to earn it." And then she says, "I'm proud of you." Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought this sucked. Make sure to be nice in the comment section. If you don't see the next video up in the end screen there, I'll get it up in a few days, not to worry. And I have merchandise, so go buy a mug or something. It's never too early to think about Christmas gifts, folks. Once again, thank you for checking out this recap.